feel like this could really go into the TMI territory real quick, but that tends to happen with pregnancy related videos. Hey guys, it's Angel and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the pregnancy tag video. I saw this video on Christina's channel and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it would be a fun video for me to do as well since I'm nearing the end of my pregnancy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Question number one is, how many months are you? I am 36 weeks as I make this switch. I guess it depends on how you define it. I have completed 8 months of pregnancy and I'm starting my 9th month. So whatever that means to you. Number two is family's reaction. So for the most part, we've gotten positive feedback this time. My parents are excited. My kids are so excited. My son actually even cried a little bit. He was so happy. It was so adorable. I did not expect that. But you know, they had been asking for a sibling for a long time, so I knew that they would be excited. My husband is happy, of course. He's not always the most enthusiastic guy, especially when it comes to babies, because he does take the responsibility very seriously, because he feels happy, he feels excited, but he also feels nervous, and you know, just the gravity of what it means to take on the responsibility of raising another human being is a lot, and so it's just very overwhelming for him. But he definitely wasn't unhappy. This was a planned pregnancy. Most of our family was happy about it. No one was like upset or said anything really negative about it, but for a lot of people these days, having 3 or more kids is a lot. You know, most people have 1 or 2. I've always wanted kind of a bigger family, and so I'm happy that we're gonna have 3 kids. And that's why I love doing YouTube. I love sharing in this pregnancy and in raising our children, because our family all lives far away, because my husband is in the Navy. I want them to feel involved since they can't be involved in person like families typically are. Number 3 is, do you know the sex? And yes, we do. It's a boy. We actually strongly considered being team green this time and leaving it to be a surprise at birth. I thought that that might be fun to do, especially since we do already have a son and a daughter, and we still had things left for both of them, so we would still be able to be well prepared and all that. But shortly after we found out that we were pregnant, we got the schedule for his ship's underways, and it turns out that there was kind of a high probability that he would be missing the birth because he'd be out at sea. And I just didn't like the idea of finding out at birth without him being there, because sometimes when they're out at sea, the internet is really bad, and so, you know, I might not be able to get a hold of him for even days later. He said he was totally fine with that. He was still totally understanding, but it just wasn't okay with me. I just wanted us to be able to find out together. And so I changed my mind and I decided to have the ultrasound tech put it in an envelope when I did my anatomy scan, since my husband had to stay home with the kids since kids were not allowed. Then at my son's 6th birthday party, he wanted to find out at his party. So that was a few days later. So I had one of my friends look in the envelope and she set up, I had like a confetti popper, and I bought one for each, and she took the wrapper off of the correct one, so we couldn't tell which one it was until we attempted to pop it. It was a defective one, unfortunately. So it was a little anticlimactic. My husband had to just kind of open it up and dump it into his hand and throw it into the air. And so that was a lot of fun, being able to all find out together and have it be a surprise even for me, instead of finding out in the ultrasound room. It turns out my husband's schedule changed and he will be there for the birth, so I still don't regret it. I'm still glad that we found out. Number 4 was, what did you want? Both of us wanted either one. I think if we had to pick, we were leaning a little bit more towards boy, and that's just because my current youngest is a girl. So it had been a while since I had had a baby boy, and it just sounded like fun to do that again. But you know, I did totally want a girl just as much. I would have been happy either way. On the flip side of being happy either way, it means you're also a little sad either way. Number 5 is, do you want more? And that's nope. So like with the previous question, I think a lot of those feelings are stemming from just last baby feelings. So knowing, you know, not only is this baby not a girl, that actually it's really more being said about that there won't ever be another baby girl in our family, at least our immediate nuclear family. And I think it's really more attached to that than what this baby is or isn't. But yes, this is our last child. It really is becoming more and more clear as the pregnancy goes on. I'm just having more and more complications, and it's just my body is obviously just done and over it, and I don't think my body can handle another pregnancy, especially because it would be at least a couple years in the future, because we do like spacing out our children at least 2.5, 3 years, and just nope. I'm already turning 34 in May, and I'm just getting too old, and it's just too hard on me. A family of 5 is a good sized family, and I just think that this is just what we're meant to have. Number 6 is biggest craving. I don't really think I've had very many cravings this pregnancy, honestly. Like there's not like one thing that sticks out as something that I crave the most. I definitely do crave a lot of things that I am not allowed to eat with my gestational diabetes diet. I really miss juice, especially orange juice. I really miss cereal and oatmeal, and you know, having a big old plate of pasta instead of just a tiny bit, things like that, pizza. But again, nothing really stands out as the thing I like consistently crave all the time. It's just kind of sometimes, oh, I could really go for some of that, but I can't yet. I don't really get like intense cravings for anything. I just kind of eat a lot of the same things because I know that they work and they taste pretty good. Number 7 is, what is the best part of being pregnant? Oh my gosh. The real answer is something I don't want to say in this video because I know that some people in my family would be watching this. I don't really want to say. I feel like this could really go into TMI territory real quick, but that tends to happen with pregnancy related videos. I guess I won't get real detailed, but sex is so much better during pregnancy. Number 8 is, what's the worst part about being pregnant? And that is how just hard it is on your body. Like you're just so tired, and when your back hurts or your hip hurts or your heartburn or your swollen feet and ankles, like it's hard to sleep. It's just hard on your body. Even if you're having a totally normal and healthy pregnancy without any complications, it's still just really hard on your body physically, and just exhausting. Number 9 is names picked out, and we do not have a name picked out, and that's just kind of how it goes for us. We just have a hard time committing to a name before our baby's born. We've never had a baby name stand out as the one in any of our pregnancies, and so since none of them jump out and stand out as the one to us, then we're scared to commit to one that may or may not be right for our child. I have one that is standing out as a front runner, not enough to be considered the one, but it is one that I'm leaning towards. And then I have another one that is like very close second, and then another couple others that I really like but I'm not too sure about. I just can't commit, so we're just gonna have to wait until he's born and look at him and get a sense of who he is and decide which name fits him best. Be looking for that name reveal so that you can see what we ended up deciding on. Number 10 is, who will be with you during labor? So my husband should be able to be there. He was supposed to be out at sea, but his schedule got changed, and now the time that he's going to be leaving is after the time that my doctor has indicated that we need to be delivering the baby because of the complications in the pregnancy. We will also have my doula Mackenzie, and she is actually a YouTuber, so I will put a link to her channel down in the description below as well, so you can go and check her out. And we're also going to have a birth photographer that I hired named Laura, and she just seems really awesome, and I can't wait to see how those photos will turn out. I had birth photography at my last birth, actually my last two, but with Kaladin, they wouldn't let her into the OR, so pictures I have from in there are just from the nurse taking them with her camera. It's not really the same, but my birth photos from Kerrigan's birth are amazing, and I'm so in love with them even still to this day, and she's almost 4 years old. Number 11, do you have a birth plan? I certainly do. I call it birth preferences though, because birth can't go according to plan. No matter how normal and healthy things are, things happen. You just can't plan for them. You can think about what things could potentially happen and think about what things you would prefer as far as your available options for those scenarios because of the unpredictability of birth. I do list things that I would prefer, but I would definitely still stay open and flexible to, you know, whatever may actually transpire, and it's definitely a good state of mind to be in. I have nothing but positive feelings about my daughter's birth, even though it was really long and really hard and I didn't get every preference I wanted, but I did get the ones that were most important to me. And the most important thing was both her and I were healthy and safe, and that is definitely priority number one. So I do have a list of preferences. This time I decided to do a visual birth plan, which I think is pretty cool. And I definitely plan to make a video all about it to share with you guys what choices I decided on. So again, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that video either. Number 12, will you film the birth? Absolutely, I will film the birth. And actually, luckily this time, the hospital and my doctor are completely fine with it, so I don't even have to turn off the camera when it's time for pushing or delivery. My midwife even said we could even film the C-section if it turns into a C-section. So that was really nice to know because I don't have video of either of the two first births. So I'm so glad that I get to have it this time around at least. And like I said, my doula is a YouTuber, so she's going to be helping make sure we get some great vlog footage. I will probably be filming a birth vlog-ish video on this channel as well as our family vlog channel. And I will link our family vlog channel in the description as well as the iCard so you can go check that out. I am super behind on that channel. So it'll be a while before we get to posting the actual birth vlog, but I am going to do like a birth story integrated with some footage from the birth on this channel. So subscribe to both of those so you don't miss out on either one. Number 13, natural or medicated? Well, chances are good that this one will be medicated in some way or another. I will most likely need to be induced, so there will definitely be medication involved, even if it's not any pain medication. But just knowing how my first two births went, it could really go either way. I didn't want an epidural with my son. I got very, very far into labor process without feeling like I needed it. But my daughter, it just really wore me down, and it got to the point that I just lost my focus. I lost control. I was way too exhausted and I just couldn't relax anymore, and I needed an epidural to get some rest and regroup and be able to actually still salvage a VBAC. So I definitely am not against pain medications. It's just something, it's a tool in my tool belt, but it's not my go-to preference. But I'm also very open to it if I feel that I really need it. I feel confident and well prepared that I could potentially go without it, but if I feel like I need it, I'm not gonna feel disappointed in myself or that I failed or anything like that either. So it's just kind of a play it by ear kind of situation. Number 14, are you scared of labor? Nope, I am not. I wasn't really all that scared even the first time, but especially having gone through it twice now, and one was an induction and one was a spontaneous labor, so I have experienced both, and I'm not afraid of either situation. And in many ways, I actually think that the induction with my son was easier because it was more intense, but it was more efficient. So somehow it made it easier to get through than hers, just because it just wore me down over time. It was easy at first, but it got to be very hard because it was just relentless and I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't progressing for a very long time. But despite them both being hard, and despite my son's birth ending up being extremely horrifically traumatic, and if you want to know more details about why that was, I will link that below. But I warn you, if you are planning to deliver anytime soon, you might not want to watch that. I always find that I want to avoid really negative and traumatic birth stories when I'm about to have a baby, because I just don't want that in my head. I want to, you know, stay positive. But yes, it was very hard, but even still, I'm not afraid of it. I feel like it's a normal, natural part of life, and at the end of it, you're getting a baby, and it's amazing. So I'm just trying to keep a positive headspace and look forward to that end result. Number 15, what do you look forward to after pregnancy? All the foods I have not been able to eat because of gestational diabetes. I'm probably gonna go on a bit of a bender at first before I kind of dial it back and go back to eating a more healthy diet, because I do want to prevent type 2 diabetes. Also, I really miss wine a lot. So I'm looking forward to having some celebratory wine, and just having my body back, and just no more heartburn. Oh my gosh, the heartburn has been so awful. I cannot wait to be done with that. And I'm looking forward to snuggling a new little baby again. Like, that's just so amazing. I just really want to soak those days up because they go by way too fast. Number 16, do you plan to breastfeed? I absolutely do. I breastfed both of my first 2 children past the age of 2. Kaladin, it was just a couple months after he turned 2 that he self-weaned. My daughter, she was a little bit past 2.5. She just decided on her own that she was ready to stop. So I definitely consider both of my breastfeeding journeys to be successful ones. And we did have struggles because of tongue tie with both of them, but overall I still feel very positive feelings about it, and I definitely plan to do it this time around as well. And if he is tongue-tied as well, we will take care of that. Luckily this time there is a dentist who is local. It's actually the dentist I already take my kids to anyway, who they love. Anything could happen. There could be something that could come up that I would need to stop or couldn't or something, but I don't anticipate that. So most likely he will be breastfed as well, and most likely he'll be breastfed into toddlerhood just like his older siblings. Number 17, do you plan to work or be a stay-at-home mom? I plan to continue to be a stay-at-home mom. That's just what works for our family, especially with my husband being in the military and being gone a lot. He's going to be gone a lot over the next 1.5 years or so. Honestly, he's going to be gone the majority of the next 1.5 years. And it's just hard to work when you have a spouse in the military, when you're moving frequently and they're gone for bouts of time. Harder to find childcare and things like that. It's expensive. Childcare is expensive, especially if you need more than 1 child in it, which I would, because our daughter isn't old enough for school yet. And then I also have an autoimmune disorder, which causes a lot of chronic pain and chronic fatigue, makes it really hard to hold down a job. So it's just, again, it's what works for us. Of course, it's hard to do financially, being on 1 income, but since we are able to do it, we're very blessed that we're able to do it, and it's just what works best for us. Number 18, will you make your own baby food? Yes and no. We do baby-led weaning, so technically, yes, I'll be making my own baby food, but I'm not gonna make pureed baby food. We're just going to give him chunks of food. We do wait until 6 months or thereabouts where they're showing all the signs of readiness. My first 2 kids weren't actually ready and interested in food until 7 months, but around that neighborhood is when we start doing baby-led weaning, and we love it. And number 19 is, do you have a nursery theme? And we do not. We actually don't do a nursery. With our kids, we have them room in with us for at least the first year. That's what's recommended by a lot of medical organizations to help reduce the risk of SIDS and things like that. It also really helps successful breastfeeding to have the baby in the same room. You're able to get a lot more sleep that way, and, you know, get their early cues for hunger and things like that. And then our kids end up in their own room by the time they're 2 or so. And then by then, we usually just give them a toddler bed, and then it's just a toddler room. So that was the pregnancy tag. Don't forget to check out the description below for links to the other channels that I mentioned, including Christina's, where I found this tag. I also have the questions listed down below if you are interested in doing this tag yourself. I guess if I had to tag someone, I'm trying to think, not very many people that I follow or friends with on YouTube are pregnant right now. I'm gonna go with Hilda from the Ladybug Girl Show. So we've been YouTube friends for several years now, ever since she was a Secret Santa for me. And I'm just excited. It's her third child as well. So we'll see if she's interested in doing this video too. I will link her as well so that if she does, you can go and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on the rest of my pregnancy and baby related videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.